I am Buccaneer Blake, one of the many stick carriers and loyal fans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is Buck and Blake Sports. Check it out.
Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Go Bucs, go Bucs. First and goal, we gotta tough it out. Get in the end zone and call a hot route. O-line a beast, Mike down the street. Can have Humphreys run right underneath. You know it's Bucs ball, we got the hardest D. Bring the pressure to the QB. You know it's routine, we got hard grease. Welcome to Tampa, welcome to Tampa. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Reppin' for my team. Go Bucs, go Bucs. You know we want the ring. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Welcome to the Bay. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Tune in with Buccaneer Blake. Bucs back, we can run and toss. Mike Evans looking like Randy Moss. And Jameis make a play after play. On the defense, you can't stop Levante. On my boy McCoy, who you can't avoid. At the Raymond James, you about to feel the pain. If you a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise. If you a Bucs fan, make a lot of noise. Go Bucs.
Man, dang, Perez, that's how you feel, man? I said, I'm not the whitest black man in America. Wayne Brady's got that, man. Can't help. I'm a little educated and I speak pretty well, Jimmy. Don't hate on me for that, alright? I can't be country like you. Silly. How's your son doing? I said, let me let it roll a little bit. That's so cool that I can bring people live with me. Well, that's definitely something I'm going to be getting into. Not you, Jimmy. Not with that statement. I don't want people getting the wrong idea about you. Perez, is that Spanish? Dan, if you saw this setup now, you'd be like, oh man, Blake's getting it now. Yeah, I got it set up real nice now. Alright. Let's get it rolling. Welcome back to a live stream edition of Buck and Blake Sports with your host, Mr. Buccaneer Blake himself. I got a new track in the works now. Nuketown Recording, of course, is my sponsor, Gypsy Panda Lashes, and Tampa Bay Care Corps. He's got a new song in the works. I don't know if it's going to be actually like a, like an intro song like the one I got now, but it should be a little nice one. He's always looking out for me. He's been here since day one. A1 from day one. But let's get going. You can check more out at www.bucnblakesports.com, IG at Buck and Blake Sports, Twitter at Buck and Blake. Yeah. So let's get going. We should be covering. Yeah, I'll get into that, Jimmy. When I post it after editing, you'll see the video and all that. They didn't show up to play till the second half, so that's pretty much sums up the game right there. Like I said, if you check out, I don't know how much time you got, you'll see everything. I'll describe a lot of what's going on. Material covered today. Again, I keep bringing up that word, covenant over contract. Chasing points, offense and defense. Stats of the game. This QB controversy thing that I keep talking about, and running game. And not a whole lot to cover because there's really only one half of football to really cover in this game. As you can see, I have no facial hair. If I might ask this team to make a commitment, I'm gonna make a commitment too. I am not gonna have any more facial hair till they make the playoffs. Yeah, you heard me say it. I'm gonna continue to shave all my facial hair off until the Buccaneers make the playoffs. And y'all know how I love my little sides and my little mustache. I feel like a 15 with no facial hair when I wanted it to grow in as fast as it could. And now you can't get rid of it. Funny how things turn out. Because you know how young I am. I'm like 22. So let's go. Let's cover the live stream edition. Covering over contract. What I meant by covering over contract is the Bucs were down. I believe it was at 24 points. At halftime, and I think they went down. Yeah, went down pretty big. And didn't really show up the first half of the game. Quarterback goes out, backup comes in. Can't really get anything going. Bucs have every opportunity to quit on this game, but they chose not to, and that speaks volumes for the character of a player, character of a team. Hell, I'll give I'm gonna beat up on the coach a little bit too today, but that shows the character of the coach as well. I have to give them credit as well, because they could have coached a lame duck game, could have posted up 0, as we got beat 40-7 the last time we played Arizona. Just seems they have our number, and I think that has to go into a lot of schemes. Like I said, I'm trying to stay in category, because me, I bounce around and not get confused stuff I say, because I ramble on posting life and football stuff. But what I mean by, like I said, I don't know if you ever heard me describe covenant over contract. As I said before, that means covenant means you're going to be there for somebody, you're going to be there by their side through thick and thin. Contract is there, you're only there for the good times, and then you're out of there because that wasn't part of the game plan. And they stuck in. I'm getting there 33-38. That 38 came from INT thrown by Fitzpatrick on the 1, and then he just ran it with AP from the 1-yard line. That ultimately is what I used to say the breaking point was, the pick at the 1-yard line. Is what cost us. But the totality, the whole game cost us. Winston is going to get a break this week. I know everybody's going to try to find a way to blame Winston. Even he didn't. He only played 6 minutes a game. I think he only had 2 drives. We were already down 21 points, so I can't really blame any of that on him. Fitzpatrick didn't do any better until he got in the second half, and he played majority of the game. I think mostly the game. And he did fairly well. He threw 2 costly picks. Again, I told you before, he keep trying to force this ball deep. The Deshaun Jackson, there's a safety sitting there. If you cannot run the ball, then the safeties have no reason to move. They're going to be over top. They're going to fly right over top and keep picking these balls. If you notice, every week they pick it the same way each time. The safeties are there. They're going to sit over Jackson. They're going to let Mike run deep because he's not a burner, but Mike will go get it. But they're not going to let Jackson just lay up and get an easy touchdown. And that's not going to change until you run the ball. Like, I'm going into the running the game, but that's near the end. But that's just what it is. So let me stick with it. The Bucs came back. They stuck together like a band of brothers, and I'm really proud of my text, Joe McCoy. And I told McCoy that they could have quit, and they stuck in there strong. I'm sure he's going to get a lot of backlash about performance, and people are just here to collect checks, and they're not here to do that. I think the majority of our players are those guys are gone that are here just to collect money. I think these guys are here to stay. They're invested, and they want to play here. I'm not questioning anybody's integrity. Not now. Not from what I've seen. Like I said, you saw a lot today. Who's invested in this team? Who's invested in winning here? You saw that these players, you cannot question their integrity. You cannot. After yesterday, you can say what you want about bad playing and bad scheming and all that, but the one thing you will not question when I'm around is their integrity, because they showed me Sunday that they have it, and they're here to win. They're here for the team. They're here for their brothers. They're here for the fans. Now, let me move on from that. Chasing points, Dirk Cutter. Lovie Smith took a lot of flack because of you. I'm starting to believe it. Lovie Smith is conservative, but he's doing the same exact thing Dirk Cutter is doing right now to Jameis Winston. And let me explain why that is. Lovie Smith he did let Jameis be Jameis, but wanted to put a monitor on him and slow him down a little bit because he's young. He's going to make mistakes. He doesn't have a run game to support him and things like that, which Cutter's going through right now, what Cutter's trying to do right now, limit crazy throws, interceptions, and all that. And that's essentially what they're doing right now. So I have to ask, was it really Lovie Smith making these conservative calls, or was it Dirk Cutter? I know Lovie Smith believes in running the ball. Dirk Cutter, from what it seems to me, he wants to run a spread offense. With a lackluster offensive line, that's up and down from time to time. And and that's what I think it is. Just a lot of conservative play calling being called at the moment. And I think a lot of it was him. And I think Lovie took it to the chin like a man and didn't point any fingers and took the blame and rode out of town when he built the forefront from this team. I mean, you can say what you want. Lovie Smith is the one that set this whole thing in motion. And that's just my opinion. Of course he wasn't going to win here. He took over a terrible franchise, much like Pete Carroll did when he took over Seattle Seahawks. You let the guy get the players that they need in, and you build a recipe and you be a regime there, and they kind of take over the character of your head coach. But it is what it is, man. It's done and it's water over the bridge. I have to live with Dirk Cutter. I'm not really mad at him. He got some fire to him, but he does need to take some slack of his poor play call with that Giants game, with the sweep called, these goal line plays that he wants to pass the ball and goal line instead of just quarterback sneaking. And he's not interested even quarterback sneaking, because I think somebody asked him that before. I think Cutter outthinks himself. There's a fine line in coaching, if this makes sense. You try to do enough to win, but try not to do too much to win, if that makes sense. What I'm saying when trying not to do too much is you do too much and cost yourself the game. I'll never believe in playing. In my theory, I'll never believe in playing not to lose. You always want to play to win. I'll never be mad at a coach, player, or anybody. Say I was playing to win the game. I wasn't playing to tie. I wasn't playing not to lose. I can respect that, as I'd rather you do that than cuddle in fear and try to ride out the storm. That's just me. Winners win. Like I said, losers lose. And that's just what it is. Right now, we're being some losers right now, and a lot of it's self-inflicted. A lot of it, I think, we try to think too much instead of playing how we should play. When I say coaching staff, like I said, red zone, you try to pass the ball on the fourth down instead of taking the points when you should take the points. Had you done everything conventionally, you take the field goal before a half, you go down 3, I know you're dissatisfied, you're on the 1, or was it the 2, or wherever we're at, and didn't get it, whatever. You get 3, go into halftime, you get the ball back. You start doing your thing, and we'd have been 31 all had you kicked all the extra points. You didn't use your kicker till the very end to make the extra points, which he nailed. And we wouldn't have been chasing points. Granted, if you take away the pick at the 1 yard line, which defense did get a stop. Defense puts up an egg in the first half, but then they put up an egg in the second half. I don't blame them for the 1 yard interception and then the touchdown. That's on the offense. That's not on defense. So as far as I'm concerned, the defense pitched a shutout in the second half. Could have laid down, but they did not. Levante David stripping. I think at the very end he punched the ball out of Adrian Peterson's hand, but luckily they fell on it. We could have got the ball back from that onside kick. They fought. They fought hard, man. They fought hard. I'm not really busting on the players right now. A lot of this one goes here. This one's to the coaches, man. This one's to the coaches. This goes out to them on this one. You have to come out with better game plan. You want to start fast, but you don't start fast. You try to run these play actions on first down, beginning of the games. People are starting to catch on to that. People aren't buying that you're actually trying to run the ball. They know you're just trying to call bootlegs and stuff to create space. They're catching on to it. Your play calling is becoming very predictable because you're not setting up plays to get this run game going. You're not setting up things to do that. And the same thing goes on the defensive side. You're playing these off coverages. Everybody's getting on very higher grades. Relax, man. It's the second year in the league, and you're asking to be a starter. When I watch all these other corners in the league, they ride third and fourth corners, and they ride out, and they get they learn the D, they learn how the system plays, and then they step in and play. We always ask our young guys for too much of them too early. All their high picks and all that. They're still people. Everybody wants to talk about this whole. And see, here goes. I thought I wasn't gonna get into it, but I am gonna get into it. Everybody wants to talk about how people are equal and all this other stuff. Well, the same thing goes with athletes. They're equal too. They're not gladiators. They're not chess pieces that you could throw away. I mean, even though that's how it is, just look how Navarro Bowman dedicated to the Niners. You just cast him aside like an old newspaper. And that's just the nature of the beast. But they're not animals. They're not chess pieces. They're not gladiators that you can throw away and their lives and stuff don't matter. And it's the same thing with these players. They're young players. They have to learn how to play. If you want to build players through the draft, I understand that you got to let these guys learn how to play this game. You got to let them learn the ins and outs, playing against the greats, playing against the prep. We don't have a whole lot of guys for them to learn that too. We keep saying, they learn from veterans like such and such, such and such, Ray Grimes and these guys. We don't. Besides T.J. Ward, I think that's the only Super Bowl. No, I think Evan Dietrich Smith. Two Super Bowl winners that are on this team, to get continuity from and learn things from. We don't have a whole lot here. We're trying to build from scratch. That's the thing that happens when you have a young team, when you get in these key situations and stuff like that. And the key part is that the fan base has to be behind them too. Like, I don't see Packers fans bashing their team or Patriots fans bashing their team, and that's because they have class and they know what it takes for the process. You got to trust the process of the team. I'm gonna build through this draft. You're gonna take your bumps and bruises, and I think a lot of people. That's why I try to stay neutral all the time. One game at a time. You should all hear me. One practice, one day, one game at a time. That's what I always say over and over and over, because things could change from one week to another. Our quarterback, sir, I don't know how long he's going to be out, but she didn't predict that. That's why I tell you that. Take it one day at a time. We got just Sean Jackson. Now our offense is just supposed to be fluorescent with TDs and all that. You can't run the ball, so the safeties they won't have a reason to move. And then our whole running back situation was terrible. We couldn't find one in the draft. We can't predict these things. That's why you have to take it day by day, step by step, practice by practice, and that's just what it is. And I'm frustrated, and fans are frustrated because you want to win. You got to let this team come together. We got to find a way. This is why the coaches get paid the big bucks. This is why Jason Light get paid the big bucks. I said at the beginning of the year, we need to go out and get a veteran pass rusher. Dwight Freeney's sitting there. If he can come in on pass situations and get you pressure and get you some sack, then by damn, go get it. I said, Russell ain't going to get it for you. I said, God bless his heart, Spence. He does the same thing Jacquez Smith does. You run around the back of him, and sometimes he might turn the corner and get it. And bless his heart, he tries as hard as he can. Gerald McCoy gets a double team. He beats matchups. What he did to DeBoom, pushed him in Palmer and created that sack. You're going to get that out of there. You got to get help all across the line. You don't always have to get sacks, but you have to change the trajectory of the ball. It's going to help the secondary too. But they have to play up on receivers and not play so far off and give. The word is uncontested passes. And then people like to say, "Oh, Hargraves sucks," this, that, and that. Well, he's playing off, and then they run a 5-yard curl. He's playing the coverage that he's supposed to play. I guess given the situation, was there somebody supposed to drop under in the passing lane? Was there supposed to be some pressure there? I don't know, because I don't know what the scheme is called. I don't know what's set up for that play. I don't know if there's supposed to be a safety inside help. You don't know all that. Everybody's not in man coverage every play. That's not how it works. And that's what I said. People watch football, but they don't know football. But when you are on one-on-one, like that one pass to Larry where he turned the wrong way, that's on him because that was his man. But he's playing Larry Fitzgerald. He's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. But yes, he could have hated better coverage. A lot of people could have played better coverage. And there was a lot of blown coverages as well. You don't know. That's why I know people just want to blame somebody, and that's just frustrating. You got to look at the situation that we're in and try to figure out what's going on. A lot of that's on Mike Smith, and it's not on Vernon Hargraves. A lot of it's on Mike Smith, and the nickel position. He's played very well in the nickel spot. We haven't really had too many troubles at that nickel spot. That we can get killed between that gap between the linebackers and the safeties and the corners and the safety, those little creases because of coverage or rub routes, letting people get free releases and biting on the run and stuff like that. But we just got to learn. We got TJ Ward, who's brand new to this team, and then he's injured, and then hopefully he's learning the calls and the lingo and stuff like that. We got to get all this stuff together. And Evans, the rookie, is playing well too, getting game experience, but he's going to get tested. He's going to get exposed because people are going to come at him with stuff, and he just doesn't know. And that's just, he has got to go. I kind of skipped it. Winston went 5 for 10, skipped 61 yards. That was early in the game. Like I said, he only played 6 minutes of the game. You can't really put that on him. Patrick went 22 for 32, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. One pick was on the 1, and the other one was trying to force the ball deep to Jackson. Like I said before, there's no reason for the safety to move. Then there's never going to be no deep ball. Quarterback competition. I don't know if I got into that. It's just there isn't one. Fitzpatrick came in, played well, and that's it. That's what it was. He played well in the situation. I'm not blaming anything on Fitzpatrick. He did the best he could in the situation he was given. He's a backup quarterback, and that's the way he should stay. He came in, rallied the team, fought hard. Thank you very much. Thank you. Not taking nothing away from you. I'm not blaming nothing on you. The 2 picks, even though it was your fault, but that's just what it was. and you're going to get those kind of games from him, hit or a miss. But then you start throwing him in there. Now teams are game planning for him, and then it's going to look different when the game plan was for Jameis Winston. That's why a lot of things will change like that. And Patrick Peterson went out as well, so that changed things for them too. But I think the key part, and I said it here and I said it before, is our lack of running the ball. I don't know if you just want to stop running the ball and you want to start. Well, let me take it back. You got to run the ball because you're down for 30 points, 30, 20 plus points coming into the second half of the game. So I already knew the run game got to go away from that, turn into a Packers type offense, spread offense the whole game, and got to move the ball. I kind of knew that early. Once we went down, run game's out the window. Which we got to establish a run game, man. Adrian Peterson alone beat us in the first drive, and that's what the Cardinals did to us. The first series is what a running game could do for us. People got to bite the run and respect the run once we start destroying them, running the ball. And we should have went after Adrian Peterson. I said this in the off season. He could have been doing that with us for the 3 weeks. He could have been doing that with us now. Sharing carries between Doug Martin, or you could have let Doug Martin go and then drafted one. Whatever how that looks, you should have been here playing with us. That running game really would have made a difference. Really would have made a difference. And people, you should have took Jameis Winston's advice. Should have took Bernard Reedy's advice. Jason Light, because they trained with them whole offseason. I have video of that. I don't think I've showed it. Them working out. Adrian Peterson's knee is fine. They're jumping hurdles and running, and with people 10 years younger than him, it's just we don't take the right steps that we need sometimes. We're so focused on this pass game, but our run game was a hot mess. And we knew it was a hot mess coming from the preseason into the beginning of the season, and we just didn't fix it. It's just it is like. I guess I can go back and say what if. We just got to move forward, man. You got to move forward. You guys are professionals. You guys get paid to make these decisions. And that's just what we got to do, man. You got to move forward. You got to keep moving. You got to keep driving. And me as a fan, me as a, whatever you want to call me, a sports guy, journalist, whatever title you want to give me, I'm still a Buck fan. I'm still a season ticket holder. And that's just the nature of the beast, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. I'll end this as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you guys. God bless. And fire those cannons.